There are three kinds of letters on the graphite scale. The first letter on the graphite scale is going to be H, and that stands for hard. Hard is going to be, whenever you're using graphite pencils, the hard pencils are going to be the lightest on the scale. So on the left-hand side, on the very top of these notes, you'll see that it starts with 3H over on the left-hand side, and you'll see that that's the lightest pencil. And as we get lower in number, and we move to the right, we see an H, which is a little bit darker, and then we don't see any more H's. But the hard pencils are going to be a couple of things. Number one, they're going to be smudge resistant. These are used for cleaner lines because they have a high clay content, which means that the graphite is a little bit harder than its other pencil counterparts. We use these often for outlines, light sketches. We can use them for blueprints because what it does is it makes a really hard, clean line that's very light that we can erase pretty easily. Our next pencil on the scale is going to be the HB pencil. HB stands for hard and black. So it's kind of in the middle. If you move down the scale, you see the HB. It's a little bit darker than the H pencil if you move to the right on the scale above. This is the pencil that's going to be equivalent to the number 2 pencil. It's a little bit, like I said, darker than the H, but it's lighter than the B's on the scale, and we'll get to that in a second. It's somewhat smudge resistant, so it doesn't smear as much when you write over it, but whoever is written with a number 2 pencil, especially left-handed people, know that they are smudge. They will smudge as you're writing with them. We often use these for writing for the most part, but it is the most versatile pencil, so we'll use it for versatile things when we're drawing as well. And then our last set of pencils, as we move further to the right on the graphite scale, are going to be pencils that have the letter B in them. B stands for black pencils, but you can see that the numbers will increase as we move to the right of the scale. So it goes from B to 2B to 4B to 6B. As we continue on to the right of the scale, we see that the graphite pencils get darker and darker and darker with each number that we go up in the scale. B stands for black, which means it's very soft because it has a low clay content, which means it can easily smudge, and it also means that it can kind of break apart pretty easily. So you want to be careful when you're using these pencils. It also means that it erases pretty easily, but it does kind of create an effect as you're drawing. So you do want to kind of be a little bit more careful with where you're laying the pencil. We'll use these often for shade and shadow, and sometimes artists will use this for animation as well. As you can see on the top of the paper with the different forms that I've drawn, we see on the left-hand side a pyramid, and then as we move to the right, we see a cone, we see a cube, we see it kind of like a sphere. What you're going to see is that we can use these pencils to create those darker areas of shade, which will be on the right-hand side of the objects where the light doesn't directly hit. And then we can also see that we can use this as well for the cast shadow that falls on the right because it can smudge pretty easily. So you can use your finger to kind of smudge in that area, and it'll look very subtle and not as abrasive with the drawing.
Okay, so I'm going to start it over here. First thing that you're going to do, you're going to start with 3 overlapping circles, okay? 1, 2, 3. Kind of looks like Olympic rings, about the same size. Okay, once you've done your 3 circles, your next step is to outline the bottom of your nose. So, taking your pencil, you're going to outline where the 3 circles meet, and you're going to kind of make the tip of your nose and the edge of your nostrils. You see, you can go ahead and start to erase the inside of your circles and the top of your nose, so it just leaves kind of the outline. Okay, from there you can fill in the bottom for your nostrils, and what you're going to kind of do is you're kind of going to make like this teardrop shape, and it's going to start from this bottom part of this middle circle right here. So it's going to kind of come around. Oops, that one's going to be a huge nostril. And kind of touch the edge.
Just like you.
Yeah. Okay, so once you do your nostrils, you're going to shade the walls on the top. Again, you want to make sure that you're using a lot of shading and shadowing for making your facial features pretty realistic, okay? So what you do is you can kind of outline, like a contour outline, where you want the walls of your nose to be, but it's going to be kind of like this pretty, again, shallow sort of semicircle type shape, okay? Just a curve coming up from both of your nostrils. And then if you're looking at a nose, you'll notice that there's, like if you're looking at someone in the sunlight, there's going to be a highlight here, okay? Like I see one on your nose already, okay, because of the light, okay? That's what makes it three-dimensional to us, okay? So we want to make sure that we keep that highlight here, and we're shading in the sides here. So you're using that hatching motion again like this, very lightly. And you can even kind of make it like those backward C's like that, and that'll kind of give you the curvature to your nose. But you want to do that on the edges. So it makes it real soft. It kind of makes it look curved. Okay. You can always blend it later, but the sides going toward the walls of your nose need to be darker than the middle. That's what makes it look three-dimensional. You can even, if you notice your nostrils, they have indentations as well that dip into your nose, so you can even darken that area as well, just a little bit, just to kind of show around those circles on the edges, just to kind of show, okay, well, we have a little bit of like shaded area there.